Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on 790 The Bet. Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency and Wally Hatchett's Comfort Food and Drinks at 6439 Summer Avenue.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray. And I will let John and Frank do at least one segment each to determine how they've improved since the last time they were in the building together. They do great jobs.
You're getting better all the time, Larry.
We'll talk about that later. But no, we do have on the line with us the man who has all the answers to duck hunting in Tennessee. I know. There you go. That's Jamie Fedderson, and we appreciate Jamie as always on short notice this week. Coming aboard to talk TWRA Waterfowl Program Coordinator, and of course next weekend, those of us in Tennessee will be opening weekend, and we know you folks in Arkansas are getting out this weekend. Mississippi's next weekend also, but wanted to talk to Jamie because everybody talks about, and I don't know, Frank, you're probably optimistic. Duck callers, are they the most optimistic, Frank Barton?
There's no one more optimistic than a duck hunter.
Okay, so if you...
No one.
Ain't Buck saying that, John shaking his head. So if you were the program coordinator for the state of Tennessee, would you be optimistic, Frank?
No one is more optimistic than a duck hunter. So, do I need to repeat myself?
No. So tell us, Frank. Jamie, about... we're a week away from one of the most highly anticipated weekends for sportsmen in the state of Tennessee. What are you hearing?
Yeah, well, okay. So I think everybody's probably familiar with the fact that some of the duck counts were down this May.
Yes,
it was great. It's the first time in a couple of years that we've actually been able to get up there and count ducks in Canada. So on the breeding grounds, but some duck counts were down, but that's okay, because habitat conditions greatly improved. A lot of us were worried because there's, a long drought that was going on up in the Canadian prairies. But, man, they got a big blizzard late in April, lots of snow on the ground, lots of water. So, that the pond counts were great. The habitat looked good. So what went back had great habitat conditions for breeding. So we're really expecting a decent fall flight. And, of course, with the cold weather and the snow that's been happening up there over the last couple of weeks, I'm feeling pretty good about what our opener might look like, as long as we can, keep some cold weather going and push some birds down. Again, I preach this to you guys every single year.
Yes.
Here it comes. About, what do I say about expectations?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. You guys are right. There's nobody more optimistic than duck hunters for opening day.
Duck hunters and opening day optimism runs high. I mean,
but again,
yes.
Again, I'm going to say it again.
Say it again.
Expectations. All right. Temper your expectations just a tiny bit, despite the fact that we really think that the fall flight was really good. Been hearing some okay reports coming from the states up north about their hunting and their harvest.
Right.
And again, I mean, just the weather up there has been bad enough that I think it's probably pushing some birds. And you guys know we've got this telemetry project that's going on in West Tennessee, and the students are already out there. They're already catching birds. So we're already putting transmitters on mallards that are already in Tennessee, and we're seeing those birds migrating down. So they're on their. Some of them are here and they're on their way. So I think we're going to be pretty darn good for opening weekend.
All right, John, you heard that. That's and I, the more data we can get, the better data we can have, the more data we can get more optimism. When we hear these things, and you guys at DU know that better than anybody.
Well, sure. I mean, of course, we're highly involved in habitat in Canada, the Dakotas, and all over. And that late snowstorm in April, really was a huge thing, because it really broke what had been a prolonged drought up there. So conditions are better. I mean, blue-winged teal populations were way up. The teal season was phenomenal.
Yes,
mostly across the country. some species were down. Some we expected that, though, just because we hadn't done counts in 2 years and had a big drought. So but overall, we were pretty pleased with what we had. And like I said, as far as around the country, the hunting so far has been really good.
And Jamie, I got to ask you, everybody's talked about low water levels on the Mississippi River. We're finally on a rise now. It was all-time low. 10.8 or something like that. And I don't know, of course, we're keeping all of our waterways at Winter Pool, as far as I'm concerned, but water levels at areas like the Fork of Deer, I don't know, some of those places like that. What are you hearing from West Tennessee talk about the drought situation?
Yeah, certainly water levels being low in the Mississippi are that's going to play some factor on some of our WMAs.
Yes,
because that river water level really does impact our ability to get water on those areas, and especially flooding some of those backwater river systems. So, we're hoping for the best. We're hoping that we get, as we come into the season, again, temper your expectations. Look, the areas that have water.
Try that. Did he just say temper your expectations?
Man, come on. I say that all the time.
Hey, I saw the movie Great Expectation. I thought they were talking about duck hunters. I thought that was the classic. But
we know that those areas that have water, they're going to do better than obviously the areas that don't have water. So it might be tough for some folks who can't get water onto their property. I feel pretty good about a lot of our management areas because we do on several of our management areas, we have wells and we're able to put some water on those areas. But those that rely on backwater flooding, it might be a little tough initially, but I'm feeling good about the fact that there's some precipitation happening up north. It's putting water in the system, and it's going to send it down the system, and eventually, because we're coming into the rainy season.
Yeah, well, we know that more than likely it usually is. I mean, I think December with the tornado hit Reelfoot Lake. There's a lot of rain in that, so there's a lot of things coming along this thing. But at the same time, Frank Barton, of course, living in Marion over there, we've talked about the low river, and things are popping up like cars and everything like that, with different objects. But at the same time, those tributary that it's not any rain that we get here that affects that river. It's all the big rain from up north. Yeah. And John just got back from Texas. Tell him what you told us, John. What kind of hunt did you have in Texas?
Well, Jamie, I said Texas has really seen a huge migration, and I think it's because the Midwest is very dry. So those birds just overflew it and went straight down to the coast. And the hunting is fantastic. I was down in the bay outside of Rockport, Texas, and I haven't seen widgeons like that in many, many years. They were down there in mass. I heard the redheads just got there by the thousands 3 days ago. Man. So, I think the Texas coastal guys are going to have an incredible season, all delayed by the fact that there just wasn't any water between here and there.
Yeah.
Sure, absolutely. The other thing you got to remember, too, guys, is that's good for the system. It's good for wetland systems to occasionally get low and dry out and consolidate the sediments and the mud and things like that. So it's not the end of the world that things are dry, and we know they're going to get wet again. And just hopefully it gets wetter a little bit sooner, so that way it has less of an impact on our duck hunting.
Well, Jamie, we appreciate you, buddy, taking time to be with us on Outdoors with Larry Ray. You're always accessible. Appreciate that.
Thanks.
Good hunting to you, and keep being really. I'm no longer depressed. I know that I've heard it from Jamie that that we're all optimistic now. So you've improved all of our spirits in this room. Okay. All right.
Oh well, then I hate to say that, now I don't think we're going to do very good with Widgeon and Redhead.
Okay. Thank you, Jamie.
Based on what I just heard about Texas.
All right. Thank you, Jamie. It's time for you to leave.
All
now.
right. All right.
Thank you, Jamie. All right, buddy. Talk to you. Thank you.
Yeah. Take it easy,
all right.
guys.
Jamie Feddersen, TWRA Waterfowl Coordinator, and Buck, you've been keeping up with this for a long time, basically through contacts and things along that line, but that doesn't keep you at home on that opening day, right?
No. Hey, let me tell you something. I always told people that if they reduce the season down to 3 days and 1 duck a day,
yes,
I'd still do all the same. I'm going to go. I love it.
And I think Frank, you agree with that, right, Frank?
I'll be there. I don't know if I got the ducks put this afternoon, but I'll be there.
Yeah,
he'll be there.
Go.
Yeah, I mean,
my dog too.
The dogs are ready, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The dogs are born ready, right? So that's the main thing. All right, let's take a break. We're not going to talk FISHING on this next segment. Okay, I'm not even going to say the word. I did spell it right, I think. I'm not really for sure.
You can tell us where they're biting if you want to.
No. We're not doing that. We're going to take a little break, talk a little chronic wasting disease with the TWRA, Sonia Mongo, and then we'll come back and we'll talk. What Frank Barton is closely about is the Sultana on Outdoors with Larry Ray.